The shaila we're dealing now with is that how can we say that the tzimtzum doesn't affect the oil when surely it does? Because the fact that the oil descends the mata, it's descending to these lower states. That's a very great change. It's the greatest change possible. Descending to Gvul and then greater Gvul and greater Gvul. So he answers it by introducing that the Mittel Rebbe asks the same question. The Mittel Rebbe says, on the one hand, asks, on the one hand, the Pasuk says, and you have violation, you see? And that refers to Malchus the Ein Sof, and yet we say, the Pasuk says, Malchuscha, Malchus Kolilami. So, Malchuscha, the way it is lifnei tzimtzum, is Malchus Kolilamim all the way down to the lowest level. And therefore, when there's a level at the lower levels of Malchus and Malchus Dasiya, which is a different darga than Malchus the Bria, Malchus the Yitzira, Malchus the Bria, obviously, and Malchus Datzilus. So Malchuscha is invested there. So that's Peil Shinoi in Malchuscha. So how can we say there's no change? So he explains the Mittel Rebbe, the difference between the reason is because the tzimtzum is in a way not of Ilav Olol, not in a way of Shefa, but in a way Hashem is manifesting himself in a way not of Shefa, but in a way of Oir. So let's continue that. Let's start there. Let's actually start from that again. Umavayir, Shatiris the calls. Everybody has the place. It's about 8-9 lines down from the top of Inyan Vazeh. Umavayir, Shatiris the calls. Tzimtzum ki yadua. Because tzimtzum is, what he's saying is that the idea of tzimtzum applies to Oir, not Ilav Olol, not Shefa. Dimoy Shefa derech Ilav Olol. I use the word Shefa now generically, but I was drawing distinction between Ilav Olol, which is a chain reaction, cause and effect, where the cause transmutes and becomes the effect. Evolution, Ilav Olol is evolution. So if Hashem's revelation would come to us in evolutionary ways, it descends down the ladder of divinity. So then then it would change and being affected would happen. But the Ashpa is not in the way of cause and effect and not in the way of evolution. How is it? The metaphor is light. Since the way Hashem relates and creates is in a way of Oir and Ziv, like the Mittel Rebbe explains on the difference between Oir and Shefa. Now it means Shefa in contrast to Oir. Explain in that particular Maimer of the Alter Rebbe. Why did the Rabbi, basically, it started a bit before the Mekabolim, employ the metaphor of Oir, of light, and just not say, because the Shaila is the word Shefa would be a better word because it doesn't invoke any imagery at all. It's a Shefa, Hashpa, influence, energy. It's even more ethereal than energy. Hashpa, it's very generic, very general. So l'chayre, keep it general. No, they want to use dafking and of Oir because Shefa would mean it peil shini b'mashpia, that there is a change. He's giving out, and the way he gives out evolves. The way he creates, the way he sustains creation. We don't want to, and we want to point out that it's not so. There is no change, and therefore the metaphor is light. which in all the levels at the center remains fundamentally the same. Kiyudua, right? Or the mashalim, the famous mashal of the Ramak is the colored glass. The light that now projects through the colored glass appears green, but the light itself is not green. That's an external imposition on the way it appears to us, but the light remains fundamentally light. So this is all to convey to us that Hashem, notwithstanding his investure in all of the levels of creation, never mind Atzmos isn't changed. Never mind the level of Moed isn't changed. The Chiddush is even the level of Moed, his actual output, his actual investure, that which he chooses to manifest, even that remains unchanging, like him. So first of all, so there's two components. There's Oyer, and then we can speak about Tzimtzum, not Ilav Olol, but Tzimtzum, the filter of the Oyer, which fundamentally doesn't change the Oyer. Again, like the Tzimtzum, and the Oyer comes in way of Tzimtzum, Befrat Tzimtzum Arishin. So the Tzimtzum affects a radical change in terms of the recipient's view. And especially the Tzimtzum Arishin, Shmeifen Shel Siluk V'Dilug, the first Tzimtzum made this radical withdrawal. Siluk means really to depart, and Dilug means from one extreme to the other. There was revelation, now there's not. The Oyer departs, and then and what remains is this vacuum. And then God projects the mere ray. So first of all, it's Oyer on top of Oyer. You're saying the Tzimtzum itself was only in the Oyer, not in the Moed, and not in Atzmos. It's only where God reveals. And in addition to that, it starts off only dealing with Oyer, and what's projected is post Tzimtzum is only also a ha'ora, in fact, a kav kotze v'dak. But what's common to all is its Oyer. So therefore, so the upshot is that ein ba'atzmos alikoshim shinoi klal. We're speaking only. So first of all, in atzmos there's no change at all. V'seidim is that's for sure. That's obvious. But we want to deal here with. We want to establish that. We want to deal here with it. There's no change even in the even malchuscha, malchus kolilamim. Even in malchus the insof, which is the level of ani avay leishanisi. I actually asked before why ani avay leishanisi. Why is there not a reference to atzmos? Because it's avaya. Avaya means the creator. The simple meaning of avaya is the one who brings existence into being. It also means the eternal one, because it's an infinite quality to do that. But upon him, so it's already created. It's malchus the insof. Malchus is the creating force. Ani avaya. So this is the highest darga of malchus. Malchus the insof. Clear? So for sure, there's no shinui in atzmos. If you say to me, this is the point that we want to grasp. Shegam being in the oil in shinui, there's no real change in oil. It's not ilav olol. It's not ashpa. Remember all the mashalim we gave in the person. Another word is koyach. Koyach depletes you. Koyach makes you exhausted. It makes you stronger too. If you exercise and get stronger, but koyach changes you. It makes you tired and it makes you stronger. It has all these effects on you. And other things, when you're investing in koyach, you're going to do one thing at a time. But what's the marshal for oil with a person? What's a marshal for oil? His presence of inspires, affects change, illuminates. He's illuminating his environment. He's not illuminating his environment by what? By investing in the limitation of the environment per se, like the mashpia. That's mashpa is getting involved in the makabel's world. That's not the way Ur works. Now, elsewhere, Chassidus, but you need to remember, the Eibishter's creative force has the mile of both, not the chsarn of both. It is invested the pnimis, but still that's shefa, but it doesn't have the chsaron of being changed. Now, just by the way, this is all mitzad the bria. Mitzad the bria, the creation doesn't change him, but you and I do. You and I affect God, yeah. The creative power, the way He creates the world, the holy shalom is unaffected. But a Yid comes along with the machshava, dibur and maisa, letoiv, so it's a gewaldige spilus. The Eibush is a great simcha. And tainduk nach asuch lefanu shamati v'nasar etzoini. And God forbid the opposite is the opposite. And how is that possible? That's Bchiras Atzmos. That's already higher than the whole. We're not talking about creation. That Bchiras Atzmos is higher than a Yid is higher than creation. A Yid is Mushish and Atzmos. How did he get there? Because he's higher than he should, and therefore he affects him. So let's just bear that in mind. Just a caveat, a very important distinction here. We're talking here about Barichas to say that Hashem is unchanged. That's creation, yeah. But not what one single Yid does in the minutiae, a minuscule moment of his life. That has the biggest effect on Atzmus at Kavayachal, because he so chose. Okay, we say them is a shigam binyan the oil nasi shinoi. There's no change even in the oil. First of all, it's obvious there's no shinoi in Atzmus and in the Moy, but even in his creative power, his creative investment, all the way down lamata mata. Because it's oil, and again, just basically the light doesn't change no matter how it's filtered. The light remains the same light. Even though there's the tzimtzum in the light, and furthermore, it's a very strong filter that causes the light post tzimtzum to be the merest reflection of the brilliance of the light that it was pre-tzimtzum. The fact that it's coming now thin and narrow, literally narrow and thin, is a tremendous tzimtzum. In addition to the fact that to begin with, there was the tzimtzum that removed the Eir Ein Sof and created a vacuum. That was the first radical tzimtzum. And now another tzimtzum, that what is nimshich again is not the original Eir Ein Sof, but what? An Eir Dak. The unchangingness is true even of the creative force, the Eir, as it is filtered and filtered and filtered. Now the Reb Kotzes Tzemach Tzedek b'mitzvah manas alikos, the mitzvah. What does it mean to believe in God? What exactly are we believing? Shinyin zeh, ein shai, shinyin zeh. This inyan, eich she'ein shinui gam ba'od is by beer. It's explained in the beer of the Eitzes Chaim, which is a sefer written by Chaim Vital, of the part of the Kisvei Arizal. This fundamental Nakud is explained, he quotes in Tzemach Tzedek, the Sefer, Eitzres Chaim. Interesting. Why again? The Rebbe has he could just send us to Hamonas Alikos, the Derech Mitzvah, and finish. But the Rebbe wants to mention that Yisrael also looks like, according to Sefer. So now explanation. But Yuvan Zal Derech Hadugma Shuval Zeh will understand this, how there's no Shinui Lamata. The whole Shinui is only from the perspective of the Mekablim, but not the Eir itself. Yeah, you understand where we're going with all of this? Friends, are we more or less on the same page? Are we more?
We
or less?
We are, Rabbi.
Yeah. Let's just remember also with this whole much that I've been endeavoring to do here, these Maimodim, and it is all since Eis Yud Gimel, since Tavshin Chav Gimel. It's all for one thing, that a Yidzel should know that the Eitzer, which is the Eitzer, the Eibishter's deepest treasure is given to every Yid, Lamata, here in the trenches. That's the soulist explained, and appreciation of that. So you can understand fully every nuance in the Maimer, not necessarily, but we get the general picture that the Eidin Sof Lamayla Madin Ket, which is high in Lamat Madin Tachlis, and it's the Etzim and the Tzimtzum, and that. As long as you get the bottom line, that we're walking around empowered by the Eibishter himself in the deepest way to overcome each one of us, the Milchama with the Yitzhahara, no matter what guise it comes. You can, and we can, and I can do it. That's the point. And after the Deir Hashvi is given tremendous koiches because it's the end of the line, and the Milchama is at stake and redemption is at hand. Tremendous koiches, not given to any previous generation, this Oitzer. This Mailam Adin Ketz was not bequeathed, given to anybody but us. We're saying it. This is the whole BASI legani. The whole climactic conclusion of BASI legani. So bear that in mind as you learn the Maimer. And as the Rebbe is saying, the Maimer is Mamshich Dinyin, and Magalda the Inyan, and invested in us. Humans, we human up here, dogma will understand is what the unchangingness of the earth, even the matter by the following.
Is the way the Rebbe investing us in an item from Oyer or Shefa?
The mile of both. But I actually, since you're asking, no, he's affected. It costs him gesund and health. So he's bringing the earth in a way of hashpah. He's being Megalad the highest in Yonim to us, but there's certainly in the way of hashpah invested in the Rebbe's words, Heitevis, Innuns and Mituns, strong words, with the passage of time, Nachmer and Nachtif and Mela B'dik.
Or you may say,
yeah,
in Eifem van Ur, the Maisa after the Lamed Ches, the heart attack, when the doctors were there, they saw it by Rebbe's, when we were saying the Maimer, was totally, his heart was calm.
There's that aspect as well. But listen, the Rebbe got sick and happened to Gimel Tammuz, so there's Imer Neiche Betzara Mamash. The words trip off the tongue, but as is the Maisa. The Rebbe said that we see with our night that the Rebbe got white over two things, and one was me, Yehudi. He went white rapidly, just around this time. It was two things. This was the Rebbe's Istalkus, his mother's Istalkus, Tavshin Chalfei, and then Tavshin Lambert, 1975 years later, with the whole me Yehudi. Tremendous heartache. Then later, giving up of a surrendering of land. The Rebbe saw it all. He saw the blood, and he said so. This is what's going to happen. Come on, it's done. Huh? Yeah, and it cost him everything. Mashli Chayv Mineged. That's what he says here in the mind of the BASI GANI. It comes to the battle for the kingdom, and the battle for the kingdom means the integrity and the safety of every yid. That's what the kingdom is. What's the kingdom? It's every yid. It's the king is everything. Yeah. So what's the mashal? The Nishmas Moishe Rabbeinu. Two interesting mashalim. What's only one? Let's see it. So the Neshama Moishe Rabbeinu Haysam B'Bchinas Atzilus. Moishe Rabbeinu Neshama Atzilus. V'Hainu made by Atzilus. It means that in him it irradiated. Is that the word? Yeah. Atzilus B'Bchinas Gilu Lamata. Even down here, he's a Neshama walking around in a Guf Nelam Hazeh, and Atzilus is walking around. Atzilus is here. What about the rest of us? So he explains. V'ni mitzad oir ha'atzilus atzma ein meniah. So Atzilus is no problem being in a guf lamata. Ilo haya Moishe gam hayom payimono. If Moishe would be with us. Now, Hayoir Atzilus Mizgalaboy, so he's walking around Atzilus, Gibakuk Atzilus gate. Nakshabadir has but he now generation in Gilu Atzilus Lamata. So listen, we don't have this revelation. The Atzilus is here. An example is a radio. The radio waves that conveys this exquisite symphony or this profound lecture, whatever it is here. But if you're not a Keli, you're oblivious. If you're not a Keli, so it's here, Mamish here, but no one knows. They're oblivious. So Moishe Rabbeinu was a Keli for Atzilus, for the highest revelations. It's not revealed. We're not literally not in tune. That's by divine design. We're not in tune. Our iPhones our radios are getting more sophisticated. But Begashmi is, our sensitivity to Likus is less. Likewise in Nevuah, similar morsel. So the Gemara says that once Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, there's no longer prophecy. Hashem is sending signals. There's Nevuah. There's the ability to tap into these Nevuah signals. That's available. The recipients are not tuned in. But the light and Ashba is the Shefa. There is a meneh, there's nothing holding it back, it's still ever present. In reality, in fact, these revelations exist today. God's putting out everything. It's not revealed. It's the makabel, depending on his state. It will be revealed or not. The change is not in the light. There's no one to receive it. So that is what one dogma. It's really one dogma. Nevuah. Atzilus Nevuah. Let's read further and then we'll wrap it up. Another dogma can move b'mitzvus hamonos elikos, like he brings it at Tzemach Tzedek, hamoshel me'arav, the Moshe me'arav shemash b'latz v'lischakim, the Rav descends himself, lischakim, to be, I've explained it here, lischakim means to engage, in tinukot, but in the way of seichel. To engage with a small child, if he has kalosa, according to the level of the child's intelligence. So we're not talking about an emotional encounter, but intellectual one. But what? It's intellectual if he had relative to the makab. Like he explains in the Ma'im of the Moshel, the Fidig Rebbe's Moshel. Harab must be a seichel tamidoi. The Rav wants to give over a teaching. The Chavtzehu, this is very important. Shehi and Moishe, he wants his branches, his plantings rather, to be like him. Right? So the objective is, so how is he doing that? In order for the recipient to be able to receive, he cannot think about the idea as it is in his mind. He has to put it aside completely. Because the mind of the master is immeasurably beyond from the IQ and the understanding of the Talmud. And what does he then do? And then he comes up with this idea that the recipient can receive. And then it's not enough. It's still too beyond it. And then filters it, and screens it, and addresses it and dresses it and dresses it. The idea that it can now give it over to the Talmud. So he wants one thing. What's he giving? I'm giving you something that one day, when you work through all of the screens, you will get the pure light of it all, and you'll understand it like I do. So the whole point of the tzimtzumim is only from the perspective of the makabel. When I'm speaking about as the teacher is giving it over. So he's giving over a story, whatever he's giving over, this little teaching, it's tzimtzum klal. But as he's saying it, for the Rav, what he's saying does not conceal the idea at all. And the quote from the Frierdiker Rebbe. Here, this is the moshel. Does it mean when the Rav is remove the seichel? It doesn't exist anymore. He's in the removal is only in the sense of he's not going to convey it as it is. It's only removed, not in essence, until you're not for the Rav, and it's not gone. It's only that for the Talmud, it's not shaykh, it's beyond him. Because the fact that the Rav is a great, towering intellect, the great towering intellect of the Rav is not in the world of the Makabel. So in order, therefore, to give over a teaching, and he's not just giving a teaching, he's giving a teaching, as you said before, that in this teaching contains the ability to be like him, to grasp it like him. So that what Begolui, the Seichel Rav, is not revealed. It's a little bit cryptic words here, but let's just translate it. The idea as it is in the Rav is not revealed to the Talmud, not even a limited version of the idea, which is already becoming palatable to the Talmud, but the way it is by the Rav, still united with his Seichel, it's still not. As long as it still remains in the world of the Rav in some way, it's not, even though the Rav is already thinking about and bringing it down to the world of the Talmud, it's still beyond it. So it's got to go through these tzimtzum and alamas v'estadim. He's got to, I think your point is, when he says, Im sichle shel Aram tzad atzmai, that's what has to be an absolute siluk. The Rav has to stop thinking about it completely the way he understands it. And then rethink it. That's the first tzimtzum. And then rethink it with who? With the Talmud in mind. Is that clear? The process has to be, it seems that he's saying here what the tzimtzum addition is. In other words, he's saying, I'll explain to you. Why does it have to be a radical tzimtzum? Just dumb it down. Just simplify it. Why radically? Radically means to stop thinking consciously for the Rav about the idea as he knows it. Why can't he just take it and just simplify it? Because if he does that, it'll never get to the level of the Talmud. He's got to make a radical break in his own mind and then reintroduce it. But notwithstanding all of that, as the Seichel disappeared, it's all a process. The Oir HaSeichel be'etzim remains the Oir HaSeichel. Is that clear? Last point. Because they're moving shafilim mitzad the Oir, so all to tell us that even the Oir, which is the marsh of the Oir, is the Seichel. The idea, this concept, the concept has not disappeared and not fundamentally changed. The point is, it hasn't changed. Notwithstanding the fact that the end, what the Talmud gets is this, whatever he's getting, this idea, the great master speaking to a little child. It would be Einstein, when I would give us a moshel, Einstein speaking to a child and telling him the theory of relativity. And these words that he's saying, which is a mind-blowing theory that there's a few people in the world really understand, if any today, who knows, don't know. But he, Emes Abal Seichel, in the words and the story that he tells him, in this little whatever he's doing. It's this little encounter. In every word he has this relativity. But to do that, he had to stop thinking about it completely in his terms, and these abstractions and the language, the formula, and so on. None of that. But be'emes, the Oyer HaSeichel is here. And the Makabal will walk it through. Because they're moving, let's conclude the Oyers. Sha'afilu mitzad the Oyer, kivin sha'ashina einoi ele beheder, Makabal shebe'erech lekabal HaSoyer. It's only the lack of the Makabal who is be'erech lekabal HaSoyer. The shindu is only in his march, so we have to give him in such a way that he can makabel it. We'll conclude here, continue tomorrow. Like we said before, Atzilus and Nevuah was revealed here. Should be Gilui. Moishe Rabbeinu Bismanoi, Navim Bisman Moishe in his time, and the Navim in their time. It's here. We're not the Keli to just, like much of the radio we said, to pick it up. Okay, we'll continue Be'ez Hashem tomorrow.
Maybe we should revisit this last couple of lines.
Okay, we'll revisit
tomorrow
it.
because
okay, Be'ez Hashem. We have to start